We are live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Keeg where we talk about this week's new comic book releases, whether they're DC Comics, Marvel Comics, or indie comics. All comics come out at your local comic shop. I would normally say, I have to amend this now. I would normally say go to comicshoplocator.com, find a comic shop near you, but that is no longer the case. That site is different now. It is not comicshoplocator.com. Some other site bought that, so retract anything that I've ever said about comicshoplocator.com. But go on Google, look up the comic shop near you. League of Comic Geeks also has a sort of map. There's, I think, comicstoremap.com, something like that. But definitely, take a little bit of extra effort and look up the comic shops near you. Support your local comic shops. Pick up any of the comics that came out on New Comic Book Day this week or any of the past weeks. And, that's all that we're going to be talking about. That's what the show's all about. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to it after the fact, podcast style, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. But however you're watching us, listening to us, digesting us, let us know you're out there. Hop in the chat, say hi, like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review. Shout out to Ashwan231 Comics, already there in our YouTube chat, just waiting to talk about all the comics that came out this week. I'm your host, Dimithri Perera, and yes, if you're watching us live, you can see who our guests are, and if you're listening to the podcast, let me introduce them. You may know him as Virgo Blade. I know him as Ethan. Ethan, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. I'm in Bat Overdrive.
You're in Bat Overdrive?
Bat Overdrive. I mean, you got Nightfall, Cape Crusader, Season 2 trailer, and then Absolute Batman animated series. I'm still reeling.
There's so much,
reeling, I'd say.
There's so much news coming out right now, and I know that, like, every so often someone will hop in the chat and ask us our thoughts about all the news, and it's like, it's not what Comic Talk's all about, but, yes, there's the Nightfall animated movie trilogy coming out, plus 3 cartoons that they announced, right? Absolute Batman, Joker, Laugh Riot? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Laugh Riot.
Yep.
What was the third? Was that the Starfire one?
Crypto.
Yeah, Crypto's getting a show.
Okay, so there we go. So we're getting a lot of animated DC content, which bringing back the golden age of DC animation,
Back on top.
Yeah. When it comes to comics, though, Ethan, between 1 and 10, what was this week like in comics for you? 10 being super stacked and 1 being super lacked. There we go.
Stacked versus lacked.
Yeah.
I'd give it almost a 10, but maybe closer to a 9. Because this was a very, very strong week. I liked a lot of titles. I think not in a bad way, but I think sometimes I can have too high expectations. And not that they were bad, they met expectations, but they didn't exceed expectations. Some of them. Because it's when you have Absolute Wonder Woman and Captain America, it's the bar is high. So it's good. Is it good enough? I expect great. And these were great, but then I expect excellent.
Is that kind of the sucky part, kind of life in general, but also you ever work a job and you're too good at your job, and then that's not me. I'm not too good at my job, but I've heard from other people who are. Then it's when you make one mistake, it's the end of the world because you're known for not making mistakes. But then when you make a mistake and you do something good, it's almost oh, I've redeemed myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do tend to be a perfectionist. It's something I'm working through and working on. Not necessarily with other people's work, because at the end of the day, I feel I try to look at it what did I enjoy the most? More so than on a critical level, even though I'm a very analytical person, but it goes more to do with the feeling. That's why my pick of the week, not to jump ahead, but it's more based off of emotion than anything else.
I'm very curious about your guys' pick of the week, but I haven't even introduced the second guest of today's show. We got Ethan, aka Virgo Blade, but we also got Joshua Ling, aka, and you won't even believe this, Joshua Stephen Ling.
How's it going?
Joshua, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. Yeah, I similarly, I'm concerned at what they're even going to announce at Comic-Con next month.
You're saying they're not going to
The,
have anything?
I
They're
mean,
announcing it all
it
right
just seems
now?
like we're getting so many good announcements over the past week that I'm just like, what bombshells do they have left for us?
I mean, they're bound to have something. They're going to have all these animated shows that they only release the title card for. They're going to have like maybe like a sizzle reel or something along that lines. Maybe.
Yeah, we can hope. We can hope.
Um I mean, San Diego Comic Con is coming up end of July. I heard Marvel is back in Hall H doing a Hall H panel probably for Spider-Man that comes out the week after. Could be
Mhm.
Avengers Doomsday, which also makes more sense. There's
Who
there's
knows? There's potential. There's
there's
potential for
things.
some news.
Yeah. Joshua, same question that I asked Ethan. Between 1 and 10, how was this week in comics? Stacked or lacked?
I would say it was pretty stacked. It was a good week. I think of the books that I got to reading, I mean, I enjoyed all of them. Some of them I thought were really great. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna say I probably feel about an eight, 8.5,
Hmm.
maybe. Um, yeah, I really enjoyed this week. I thought there was I mean, some of my favorite books came out this week, so I'm thankful for that always.
I I think this was a 9. I think this was a niner sort of
Okay.
week. I think it's rare, if ever, to get a perfect 10. I've talked about that previously, where it's like, I
Mhm.
mean, all your favorite series have to come out on that day. Like it has to be really stacked. But
And they
this
have to be
week,
good.
Hmm.
do you judge stacked and lacked by the comics coming out or by the quality once you read them?
I do the quality.
Hmm. So
Yeah,
if there's only
same.
3 books that you want to read, but they're all amazing, then
I
that's
mean,
a
because usually, I mean, yes, like I have my favorite books, but ultimately I will choose books that I want to read anyway. So they're somewhat around the same level of like how much I care about them. So it becomes more about the quality versus like the quantity of books that I love, you know.
am I misunderstanding my own question in a way? Like, am I asking the wrong question? Should I be asking more about the quality of the books rather than the week as a whole?
I mean, it depends on what you want to know. Like in terms of like my okay, look without looking at the story itself,
Mm-hmm.
like it honestly it probably would be about the same just because like once again these are some of my favorite titles
Yeah.
and they all pretty much met expectations. um so I feel like they somewhat can go hand in hand, um because I feel like it's not at least too often where something is like very low, because usually if I'm reading something it's because I like it. So I don't think necessarily there's that big of a difference between the question that you're asking.
Okay.
um but that's my perspective.
I mean, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
kind of like people sometimes think that I like every movie I see, but it's more like first thing, I'm generally pleased, but then also, I don't see movies that I don't think I'm gonna like.
Right, exactly.
Hmm.
So then that skews my average. So like my letterboxed, it's like 4 stars roughly. Like, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But why don't I have 1 star stuff? It's like Tron Ares. Sure. Because I can't give it a 0. There's no 0 star, I don't think.
Oof.
Tron Ares was the
If
worst.
only. If
Was the
only.
worst. I can't. I'm sure a lot of talented people worked on it, so I'm sorry. But also it was just not good. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, did I say, oh, I would give it a 9? Okay. I think I said that.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, there was a lot of books to the point where I couldn't read everything that I needed um, before like showtime. Because people don't realize this. Like, we're going over all the books that came out this week, sure, but also all the books that we could read in like 24 hours. That's
Hmm.
the way the show works. And so sometimes we don't always you know, I save some stuff for the weekend sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
gotta
usually
sleep.
do that on like days, non weeks like this. It's like last thing that I read was on like Sunday from last week.
Mm.
Versus this one, I try to read almost everything by today.
Yeah, I do my
Same.
best. There are some that, I mean, we'll get to it. There are some when I start it and it's so wordy, I'm like, nah, I gotta keep it for the weekend. I can't read this before showtime. You know,
I'm not doing that at 12 on a Wednesday night. Yeah.
it's like your teacher gives you 10 homework assignments to do, and you got to get it all done before midnight. Like, do the 9 easiest ones. Like, you know, if you can't do all
Yep.
10.
Exactly.
So, if you're watching us live on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, I'm just going to pat myself on the back because I have a slightly new design for the show. So if you're watching us live, check that out. But let's go over, because it's all set up and ready to go. Let's go over our reading lists for this week. Let's talk about the list of books that we read this week, and then we will go into our picks of the week because, people are itching to hear our thoughts. Ash1231 Comics says, "Hello, excited to see your lists. Very good week, I thought. Thumbs up." So thank you so much, Ash1. Who wants to go first with their list?
I can go.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, Joshua, you go.
Awesome. Okay, so I didn't get to everything, but I got to, I feel like a decent amount. From Marvel Comics, I read Captain America issue number 12, Moonstar issue number 4, X-Men number 32. From DC, I read Absolute Wonder Woman 21, Absolute Superman number 20. From DC Vertigo, I read The Peril of the Brutal Dark and Ezra Kane Mystery number 5. And then from Image Comics, I read Escape number 8.
Nice. I was waiting for you to say the full title of the Ezra Kane book.
It's important. I heard this is just one story arc, and then they're gonna keep changing the title, but keep the subtitle. So you got to read the whole title so people know.
Yeah, it's kind of like Indiana Jones, but
Exactly.
it would be like if it was like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones saga or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. And then it'd be
Yeah.
like Temple of Doom, an Indiana Jones saga, whatever. Wasn't it Solo, a Star Wars story? Kind of like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Peril of the Brutal Dark and Ezra Kane Mystery. Whatever the next one will be, it'll be like, it's like Glass Onion.
Yeah, exactly.
Knives Out. Yeah. Anyway, cool. Good list. Ethan, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
Let's see. I got Zatanna number 3, Absolute Superman number 20, Absolute Wonder Woman number 21, Justice League Unlimited number 20, Superman number 39, X-Men number 32, Captain America number 12, and Infernal Hulk number 8.
Nice.
Yep. So didn't get to Wolverine or Venom that I wanted to, but
I was counting on you doing that because I'll be honest, when you guys send me your lists, I look at it and like there's a lot of overlap. And sometimes when I'm getting down to the wire, I'm gonna read a comic that you guys didn't read so I can cover the spread, zone defense.
Nice.
But this week I was like, oh, Ethan has Venom. We're good. Well, and then now I'm like, oh no. We
sorry.
It's all right. It's no, you don't owe me anything. It's my fault, my choice that I didn't read it, but it was on my list. What I did get to, let's do this. Captain America 12, Absolute Wonder Woman 21, X-Men 32, Absolute Superman 20, Justice League Unlimited 20, Superman 39, Detective Comics 1110, Ultimate Endgame number 5, Flash 34, Ultimate Universe Finale number 1. It's a one shot, whatever. Feral 24 by Image Comics, And what I didn't get to, but I just want to shout it out: White House Robot Romance, issue number 3 by Distillery. I realized after I got issue 3 that I didn't read issue 2, so I had to read issue 2, and it took me so long to read issue 2 because it's super packed, super thick, that I was like, I can't even get to issue 3. I can't do it. So that's one I'm like, I'm so hyped to read it, but also I gotta wait for the weekend. It is what it is.
That's fair. It happens.
You know. But yeah, I mean, there was other books that were on my list, and I didn't get to it. But like Summer of Supergirl, didn't get to it. But out of our reading lists, what are you guys' picks of the week? Did any of you guys change your pick of the week at the last second? If so, I can change it. If you guys have the freedom to change your pick of the week at any point, and it's up to me teching this to have the right covers in place.
Well, like, I honestly was kind of torn because, okay, like, I have like a whole story with it, but as you know, my expectation was Captain America number 12, but I had to be honest, and it was very good, but my expectations were so high that it didn't exceed them.
Yeah.
It was just a very good story. So I went with my pick of the week is Superman number 39.
Cool.
Mainly because of Dan Mora, and like his switching up his styles is wild. Like, I'm so impressed. Like, he feels like a generational, once in a lifetime artist where it's like, how is this man doing all these things? So almost based off the merit of that, even though I did enjoy the story itself, and I typically am more of a writer guy over an art guy, but to me, if that stands out so much that I have to like commend it, then I felt like that needed proper props. So even though I maybe liked other stories better, I appreciated the workmanship that went into Superman 39. And that is my long-winded reasoning for picking that comic.
Superman 39, I also read it. I liked it. Who wrote it? Is it Williamson?
That was Wade?
Is it Wade?
I thought it was Wade.
I don't think it's Wade, because it makes fun of Wade
Might
sometimes.
You're right. It's Williamson.
It is Williamson, right? Joshua Williamson.
I think I confused it with Justice League Unlimited.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's what happened.
So Joshua Williamson, I think, is trying real hard to make Superboy Prime redeemable. And like, that's commendable. I'm not really interested in Superboy Prime, but like, I do kind of like this, and so I guess he's winning me over. But the art, you're right, the art was the standout in this, because Superboy Prime is stuck in comics. He's like in DC Comics. Like, it's very like meta, fourth wall breaking. Fourth world is a different thing. But Dan Mora also drawing in his style, but in the style of like the Superman animated series, was also like really cool. Joshua, did you read this one?
No, I didn't. I'm very intrigued now, though. Just hearing Dan Mora changing up his art had me very interested.
Yeah, he switches like pretty much all the different comic genres. Like, Superboy Prime is going from like genre to genre, but also like not just genre, but also very specifically he goes to the Superman animated series comic. Like, it's very and not the animated series, but the comic, because it mentions that it's a comic, not the animated series, because Superboy Prime knows about comic books.
Right. Yeah.
But he also mentioned, and I think this is what's going to come up, he mentioned that he's losing his memory. The longer he stays in the DC universe, he's losing his memory of the meta context outside of it.
Yeah. And that's what I find so fascinating about Prime, because much like you, it's like I had a chip on my shoulder about Prime because of Infinite Crisis and the Superboy Connor Kent of it all. But this feels like it breaks the mold, not necessarily like, oh, I want him to be redeemed. It's not really about that. It's like this feels like it's going into uncharted territory. And that's what excites me as a reader. It doesn't feel like the same kind of humdrum story, good versus evil, fight the bad guy. This feels more, meta, fourth wall breaking, while also being like a commentary on comics itself, which I feel like I want comics to do more,
Mhm.
because after like a certain time, like it does get repetitive. As much as I love comics, it's like sometimes you want it to kind of like, not necessarily in like a Watchmen context, but to deconstruct it a bit more, where it's like it goes into a situation and you know how it's going to end. It's like that isn't really exciting as a comic book reader who has read all this stuff. I like being surprised and excited. That's the fun of the absolute universe. And so I want that energy injected into the main universe in its own way. And that's what Superman and Prime is doing in this story. Also, I really love what they did with Manchester Black in his manipulation of Superman, of Superboy Prime, who wants to be Superman.
Yeah.
And I did end up feeling sorry for him because of what happens and how he manipulates him to act on his worst behaviors. It's like, because normally, like, I haven't really felt that sorry for him because, like, he did what he did. But at the same time, like, he is trying to be better. And he was pushed against a proverbial wall, a fourth wall, if you will. And he kind of cracked. So that part felt effective. Also, like, Manchester Black's, like, power set has altered as well. So once again, it's like, wait, now like that's changed. Like I like feeling like I don't know what's gonna happen, and that's what this comic feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. I I like where this is going. It is winning me over. I didn't care at first. And now
I
I'm
I,
like
I
a little bit
remember.
more. Yeah. Well, cuz again I hate Superboy Prime. Like I'm like I love Infinite Crisis, right? Like I
Mhm.
love and in that you have to hate Superboy Prime. Like you
Right.
just par for the course.
Yeah.
So I've been hating on Superboy Prime for like 20 years now. Like
This
you know,
will
uh,
be.
I I don't know. I think it's interesting, and the way this issue worked was really interesting too. Also worth not worth bringing up. You guys know the Big Bang Theory spinoff show Stewart Saves the Universe or whatever like that.
Yes.
I heard there's a comic book like he's crossing into comic book stuff too,
Hmm.
and
Like superhero comics or like.
yeah, because
Oh.
okay, I just been like maybe I caught some clips of something, but in the trailer, I think Mr. Freeze appears,
Hmm.
or people have just been calling him Mr. Freeze because he looks just like him and he has ice powers. But I think it could be Mr. Freeze because it's a
Hmm.
Warner Brothers property and he's
Hmm.
Stewart is going through the multiverse. I
Hmm.
don't know. It's something weird, but I think there's a comic book
Interesting.
tie-in with the show, and it all spins off of Big Bang Theory. I don't
Yeah.
get it. I don't get it at all.
Interesting. Hey,
Yeah. I mean, they did make a lot of references specifically to DC during Big Bang Theory, and I think it's because of the whole like CBS Warner Brothers like
Yeah.
connection as
mhm,
well. So it might not be too far off from that.
Yeah. Um because a lot of shows, a lot of sitcoms were produced by Warner Brothers but aired on CBS. Like
Hmm.
mhm.
no, How I Met Your Mother was Fox produced, aired on CBS, I think.
Hmm.
But some other shows have. Anyway, whatever. That's neither here nor
Interesting.
there. I'm not a fan of Big Bang Theory, so I don't know why I'm talking all about it. So cool. Superman 39. Ethan's pick of the week. Joshua, you got your pick of the week?
I do. My pick of the week is Captain America issue 12. Um, I have just been really loving this series. I have been uh, wanting and needing a new Captain America story. Um, in his main title that felt like really worthy of the mantle. It could have been Sam, it could have been Steve. I didn't care. I just wanted something good. And I've been kind of burned, I think, on a few other runs, but I've loved what Chip Zdarsky is doing in this run. And I think, yeah, I'm a huge Cap fan, so this is kind of like if his book comes out, it's generally going to be up there unless it's just like really off. Um, but yeah, so Captain America is basically in hell with Doom, and they're gonna cause an uprising against Mephisto, I guess. But I think some of the story beats that really caused it to go over the top for me were just uh, Steve being in hell, seeing people that are in hell being tortured by demons, and he still doesn't care and is going to stick up for them and be like, I don't care what you did. Like, no one deserves this. Uh, it's just Captain America being Captain America, and he's going to do it wherever he is. And I really, yeah, really resonated with that story, and it got me feeling all hopeful and just the idea of his purity and his light in such a place that could be uh, basically the opposite of that really won me over on this issue. So,
I I liked this issue a lot also. For me, I just thought it was a setup sort of issue for this new adventure that he's on. But yeah,
mhm.
he's kind of dead. He's like almost dead after the events of Captain America 11, and that's why he's not in Avengers Armageddon issue 1. Um, but I like the idea of someone like Captain America and I mean Superman over at DC are both the type of people that believe so much in hope and redemption that eternal damnation is not fair in their eyes, which I think is
Yeah,
an interesting concept that Captain America, just as he stands up to the American government, he's essentially standing up to the rules and regulations of God in a way. Like he's like,
yeah,
no, God, you're wrong.
yeah. I think it's such an interesting concept and just like a an idea that he is, and like Superman, I feel like has the same thing, like you mentioned, where they're just it is antithetical to their entire core being and belief and how they feel about how the world works and how people are and should be treated. And so there is just not the like it doesn't compute in their brains that there would be this immortal damnation. Um, and so him basically calling these torturing demons bullies. It was like, I don't like a bully wherever you are. It's just
Yeah.
like it just gets me all in the fields. And I was like, yeah, there he is. In hell, he's still like sticking up for people who maybe don't deserve to be stuck up for. Um, and I'm interested to see how that dynamic works in the context of him now kind of being paired up with Doom, someone that he also has this very intense struggle with, knowing that he's maybe not redeemable, and how that's going to play out as they continue on through this hellscape.
Yeah. Ethan, you had thoughts about this one?
Oh yeah. When he said that he was like still standing up to bullies, that was my favorite part because it's like even in hell, Steve Rogers is gonna stand up against bullies. Like I love that line. Also, like I like that it felt like this gauntlet that he was like fighting through like the hordes of hell. It just felt like wow, like Steve Rogers can like overcome anything. And that's what was like beautiful and inspiring. And it really hit all those notes perfectly. Um, and I think once again, it's like that was my expected choice for the number one. And once again, there was nothing wrong with it. It just didn't necessarily go above and beyond. And I think just like with the hype of Armageddon and how great this story has been, it was just like another great issue. Which there's nothing bad with that. The same thing happened in a previous episode when I talked about Absolute Wonder Woman, and I'm like, it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, you know, but compared to like other issues, I liked other issues more, and I think that is why it's still like top three, but I didn't choose it for my versus like Superman issue 39 surprised me in a way. Um, but yeah, but like Captain America, like this one still hit. Like I love Captain America and his strength just because I feel like there are misconceptions about him. but it's like I have always been drawn to him when I realized that his story was standing up against bullies. Because, you know, from the outside, you have this perspective about him, and then you understand who he really is. And then it's like, oh no, wait, this is like a really good guy who does what's right no matter what. And that is what's so inspiring.
I remember when I was in elementary school, and this is before anyone cared about the Avengers, right? Like like 90s Marvel, it's all about X-Men and Spider-Man. Like Avengers are B-list at best.
Mm-hmm.
Um but back in, the 90s, I didn't really know much about Captain America. Like he guest stars in a couple of cartoons, right? And that's pretty much it. And I just remember my best friend at the time just saying like, "Oh yeah, he's just kind of like American propaganda." And that's it to the character, you know? That being said, in the comics at that time, he was not just American propaganda. Like he had consistently stood up to the American government for decades at that point. But the general consensus, nobody knew Captain America other than he's just a walking, talking flag, right? Like, but like luckily because Captain America is more mainstream now, like people now know that like he's not just that, which is cool, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Good for the character.
Yeah,
Um
absolutely.
just like people thought Superman was boring, but now as he's become more mainstream, he's not just a boring character, let's just say. Like maybe he's a little bit boring in certain aspects because he won't do X, Y, or Z, but he's not boring. He's
Yeah,
just
it's like those same characteristics like make him interesting. You know, it's like
Hmm.
it's easy, quote unquote, to be the Homelander, the angry, using your power, how like selfishly. And I feel like it allows you to recontextualize your perception of like boring versus goodness and like restraint and how strong one has to be, not just physically, but to do what Superman does. And I think that that is a more wider understood aspect of Superman that I feel like people are getting more now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
agreed.
Yeah.
Um as for my pick of the week, it is more of a surprise to me, but I worked it out all in my head on why this deserves it. And I think it takes some explanation a little bit, given past episodes of Comic Talk where I've expressed my lack of enthusiasm. So I'll preface like that. My pick of the week is Ultimate Universe Finale, issue one shot, whatever you want to call it. It's all the writers that were writing their previous series that just ended, and then different artists. So it's a lot of those same creative teams doing essentially an epilogue to each of their series, which was amazing. Peach Momoko, Brian Hill, Chris Condon, Dennis Camp, Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman coming back after ending Ultimate Spider-Man to come back and like do a little epilogue here. Um, there's going to be spoilers for Ultimate Endgame issue 5, which I also read this week, but it's not my pick of the week, though it is better than I originally like the previous issues. But this Ultimate Universe finale essentially dedicated like 5 pages to each of those series: Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Wolverine, and what am I missing? The Ultimates. And so it's like 5 pages each, and each book gets like a 5 page, epilogue. And it's exactly what I wanted for something that started off so amazing. The new Ultimate Marvel universe started off so amazing. And then when they put like a time limit on everything, it fell apart a little bit on quality. And it's not the fault of the writers. I think it's just the fault of like giving someone a countdown for their series. And like, how are you going to wrap things up? And like, Ultimate Endgame issue 5, I thought ended as well as it could have. And then Ultimate Universe finale kind of put the little cherry on top to be like, this is what you loved. This is why you love these characters. And I mean, spoiler for all of this stuff. At the end, Ultimate Universe will return. It's kind of that same thing that they do at the end of MCU movies. And I was happy. I was happy with that.
Mm.
But I don't know if you guys have been on previous episodes where I've talked, I have not liked
I
Ultimate Endgame.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't been.
I haven't liked it at all. Did you guys read this, or did I scare you guys away from it, or
No, no,
what?
I mean it. I have my own issues with, like, I really didn't want Ultimate Universe to end.
Yeah,
So much like you, I do feel like there was a dip in quality on top of, like, my interest kind of waned as well. Like when it comes to superhero comics, and you know this because we've talked about it before, but it's like I like the ongoing nature of superhero comics. That's why when something like, like y'all told me to read Dark Patterns, and I'm like, I have to wait for everything to come out,
yeah,
and then I can read it all together, because it's just a different energy, like ongoing versus a mini series. It's not that it's
Mhm.
worse; it's just my preference.
yeah,
So to know that Ultimate